Kareem, good morning, and thank you so much for your time and to do this interview. And I will start by asking you to tell us a little bit about yourself and about your involvement at Paper Airplanes and what inspired you to volunteer at Airplanes, particularly in your teaching English position.
Sure. Thank you so much, firstly, for the opportunity, Sarah. I'm really looking forward to being able to talk about this. Paper airplanes is probably my favorite thing that I can spend my time doing in the day. So it's always a pleasure to get to talk about it, and reflect on why I joined and what it's kind of taught me. So, firstly, I joined Paper Airplanes because I, like many people working at Paper Airplanes, have some connection to an Arabic speaking background. So I'm Egyptian and my family came to the States. I was 2 years old. And fortunately, we had a very smooth experience as immigrants. We had opportunities for employment. We had a support system when we came to the US. And as I grew up, kind of realized that that's not the case for many individuals that are, elsewhere in the world who are Arabic speakers. They don't have the same opportunities to learn English that we had. And English opens, as you know, doors to everything. Employment, promotions, really everything in the world. Social mobility comes to speaking English. Um, so that was kind of what led me firstly to join Paper Airplanes was the appreciation of the power of English and wanting to help others who have a similar background as myself to learn English. So it's been a wonderful experience so far. I've built many connections with many of my students. My Arabic has improved. Sometimes I think my Arabic has improved more than my students' English has improved. I've just learned how to speak Arabic from many different dialects, such as Lebanese and Syrian. So it's been a great pleasure, and I've built some lifelong friendships with the students that I've been able to work with during my time at Paper Airplanes. So it's been great.
Okay, that's great. So it's really beautiful to see how your Egyptian background and then living experience in the state shaped the approach to volunteering and helping refugees and teaching them and learning from them as well. As a previous teacher, even I still have teaching experience. I think that I do learn from my students a lot. So thank you for sharing this. And I'd like to know the impact that
Sure.
paper planes have on your life.
Yeah, so I think that there's a certain privilege that comes with being someone who lives in a country like the US, um, where we tend to spend a lot of time thinking about things that are relatively trivial, not very important, and just aspect of life don't require that much thinking. Such as, what am I going to wear today? Where am I going to spend this extra hour that I have today? Just questions that come with having a growing up in a country like the US where there's always a surplus of resources and there's kind of no question in many cases, what you're going to eat, where you're going to go for school, what you're going to put on, what clothes you're going to put on your back. Um, a lot of those questions, fortunately, I've had the privilege to not have to think about a lot. So joining Paper Airplanes and getting an experience with people across the world who, for some of them, these fundamentals are not so clear. It's not clear what the definition of home is going to be in a year or two from now. It's not so clear where their children are going to go get their education. Um, Working with adults and really across the range of ages who really have to grapple with some of these deeper issues and who are facing much greater difficulties in their lives than I am has made me appreciate everything a lot more that I have. I really don't think I stress as much anymore about the small things because it's Paper Airplanes has kind of broadened my mind and helped me realize that, think big picture and realize just how privileged you are to have the things that you have. Um, so I think in terms of my development, that's one area. I've also learned through Paper Airplanes that everyone learns differently. And everyone has just a different learning style, and they're going to require a different way of explaining concepts, different examples, different, some people like mnemonics, some people like to see it visually. And so I've learned to be very flexible in terms of my volunteering through Paper Airplanes. Instead of being so regimented and just following the curriculum, paper airplanes has taught me to be more creative and to go beyond the curriculum, to kind of adapt the curriculum to each student based on how they learn best, and to just bring creativity into how I teach English so that I can meet the needs of every student. Um, and then thirdly, I think the big benefit that's come from paper airplanes is just the deeper appreciation of my heritage and the Arabic language, our culture, and the kind of warmth and the warmth, the comfort, and the hospitality of Arabic speakers, and how it doesn't matter if you put an Arabic speaker from one side of the earth with an Arabic speaker from the other. If they meet on Skype, it's like they're going to be best friends immediately. So I think that kind of that very collegial nature of, that happens when Arabic speakers come together is another thing that I've come to appreciate through paper airplanes.
Wow, that's really amazing. That's great. And as I already know that you are not only an English tutor with the paper airplanes, can you share, please, also some of the key responsibilities that you hold in your role as responsible for development and outreach at paper airplanes?
Sure. So about maybe half a year to a year ago, I was really happy with what I was doing. As a tutor, shot to our wonderful director, Ibrahim, who I can't even speak enough about. He's just an incredible human being inside and out. And I reached out to him and I explained to him that I would love to do more paper airplanes. And so he very graciously welcomed me into the Director of Development and Outreach role, where mainly my work is to figure out how we can move the organization forward, using the input from tutors, students, staff at paper airplanes, and really just taking all of that input and using it to figure out what changes we can make to drive paper airplanes forward. So I've been doing that work essentially with the Women in Tech program mainly.
Mhm.
So I kind of worked with Ibrahim to help design a survey where we can get input from students and tutors who are involved in women in tech and identify key gaps that we can work on in terms of moving the program forward. And then maybe the larger part actually of what I've done is outreach, where I've helped with contacting potential partners that can join us in our Women in Tech program, who can, provide not only tutors but also possibly students who are interested in participating in Women in Tech, basically to broaden the bubble of women in tech and everyone that we reach. And then the last, I think, big project in addition to outreach and development for women in tech has been our work with the Catazol community, which is essentially an English language community in the United States based in California. And I had a great opportunity to work with two of the other wonderful people on our team, Manar and Joyun. And together we made a presentation and were able to present at the Catazol conference, which was a wonderful experience. So it's been a great time.
Well, yes, that's amazing. And since what we do at Paper Planes is education, as you have mentioned, and you have mentioned the different programs, you have mentioned the English program and the Women in Tech program, as well as we have the Professional Skills Development program. And what do you think the education that we are doing, how is it impacting the lives and opportunities of the refugees you work with?
Sure. So I think there's kind of one common denominator across all of the programs we do, and that's that it's really giving refugees the basic foundations that they need to succeed in whatever society they find themselves in. I think that the work we're doing is very important because these opportunities and resources that we offer refugees are not easily found. And outside of paper airplanes, it's very possible that refugees might not find these sorts of opportunities to learn English for free, or to build this kind of weekly relationship with a tutor who is investing an hour and a half just in helping, an individual learn English. That's a resource that unfortunately many refugees will not find in their host countries, not to mention the stigma and discrimination that refugees face in their host countries, which make it even harder for them to learn English and to progress socially. So it really cannot be overstated how needed these resources are for refugees and how big of a gap paper airplanes is filling. Because unfortunately, refugees will not find these opportunities in their home countries largely. And like I said, the skills in English, the skills in technology, the professional skills program, these are all basic kind of knowledge and resources that anyone needs to progress socially and to succeed in their chosen field.
And as yes, I can add to what you have mentioned that as someone who's living in a non-native English speaker, actually it would be Arabic is our native language, and then as you have mentioned that English opens doors, and it's really a must for today's employment and education and whatever. It's really sometimes hard, and in other times it's really expensive. Then even though you can find teachers or probably institutes or whatever that teaches English, and it is really hard. It's really in terms of financially speaking. So it's really hard. It's going to be really expensive. So thank you for shedding light on this. And
Sure.
can you, yes, and can you please share with us a memory or something that you learned from your time in the program? It can be an experience, it could be anything, an experience with your students or whatever.
Sure. So I think the experience that comes to mind, and I won't mention the student. I hope that if he sees this, he knows that I'm talking about him. Uh, um, so one of my students in particular, who I've been working with for a while now, incredible person. Again, I feel like I learned more from him, but I definitely learned more from him than he learns from me. Um, but we joined together and we were working for, half of the semester, and then we got ready to take the mid-semester exam. So kind of the midterm. The midterm didn't go how we wanted it to go. It wasn't, the score that we wanted, and I think we were both kind of disappointed, and we had reflection to do, both of us, my student and my tutor, or my student and myself. Um, and what I learned from that experience is that you can't just, as a tutor, you have to remember that, again, it's not just follow the curriculum and everything will be okay. You really have to know how to adapt and to read your student well and to go above and beyond and take the initiative. If you need to pull in extra resources from somewhere else, if you need to bring in additional examples outside of what the curriculum provides you. If you need to use a different teaching method that maybe wasn't mentioned in the curriculum, but that it's going to work for your student well, you have to take that extra step and really take initiative as a tutor. And this is what I would encourage all tutors to do. If there's anything that maybe I can shed light on during this, is do not just follow the curriculum, go above and beyond. Take the initiative, take the extra step to find the extra resource or to teach the information in a different way, because it will make a huge difference for your student. And so to finish off the story, as we were progressing toward the final exam, I was working, with a different approach, using different resources, trying to learn from the mistakes that I made as a tutor during the midterm. And fortunately, with those changes, my student did great on the final exam. They were very successful. We moved on to the next semester together, and I think it was a really good experience for both of us, but especially for myself as a tutor, to always be thinking about how can I take initiative and how can I go above and beyond to really do my best and give my best effort no matter what I'm doing.
Okay, that's really inspiring. It's always about tapping the needs of the students. And I think that you are now studying at the university in the States and you are studying something related to medicine. So I would be asking, how does your personal passion align with Paper Airplane's mission, and how does that reflect on your work and the work that you do?
Thank you for asking this question. This is like one of my favorite questions. Um, I am studying medicine in the States, and really broadly, my I knew I was interested in medicine for a long time, but I didn't know until as I moved forward in college why I really wanted to do medicine. And as I've gone further, with things that I do in the States as well as with paper airplanes, I've realized, that what I want to do long term is to make sure that healthcare is accessible and high quality for everyone, particularly refugees. I'm very interested in refugee and immigrant medicine. And I really want to make sure that everyone who was immigrating, to the US or really just refugees anywhere, especially Arabic refugees, given my background, have access to high quality healthcare and high quality education. So that's kind of the career that I'm hoping to go for. And paper airplanes has been, I think, a pivotal step, in hopefully helping refugees with throughout my career.
Okay, that's great. And what are your final thoughts for other individuals considering joining Paper Airplanes?
What I would say is that you won't ever grow or improve without taking a step outside of your comfort zone. Um, Most of the things that I've done in my life that ended up being really, really good were things that I was very close to not doing. Um, so it's if I would if you know what paper airplanes is, and if you're kind of on the fence and not sure if you want to join, what I would say is just take the step and do it. Try it. You won't know whether you like it or not until you actually do it. I'm almost certain that you will probably like it. And push yourself outside of your comfort zone. Being comfortable all the time is not a good thing. We need to actively seek uncomfortable experiences to continue growing. So take the shot and try it, and I think that you'll find some meaningful growth through it.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Kareem, for your time for in today's interview. And thank you for all the efforts that you are doing and you are contributing in changing the lives. Thank you for being an agent of change and for impacting all those students. So your efforts are highly appreciated.
Thank you for the opportunity, and I just want to understate that this is only possible, and me being so motivated to do the work I do is only because I work with, excuse me, a wonderful team. Again, I can't overstate how amazing every member of Prepare is. They're just all inspiring. All of their stories are amazing, and they just keep reminding me like you can continue doing better because you're surrounded by so many amazing people. So thank you for the opportunity, and thank you for being one of the wonderful people on the Paper Airplanes team. I learn more from everyone on the team than anyone else.
Our duty. Thank you so much.